is the last team on the board, and not just because they are. This is a betting show. If there's real value here, I'd be in on it. I don't know what the fuck to do with the Spurs, Brandon. I don't know what to do with this team. 22.5 win totals of 23.5 over the last 10 years are 5-5 to the over under. They're exactly even. There's no value in finding, like, usually there's like plays. There's some trends that say that the lowest on the board has some value, but this is tied with a couple of other teams, so there's not necessarily like a clear answer there. You assume they're going to tank, and so that would mean play to the under. The last time that the Spurs tried to tank under Popovich, which was when they got Tim Duncan, they won 20 games. They were respectable. If this was like a point differential, I might take the over. I could see them being really competitive, but losing. If you just want to be like, I'm going to bet the bad teams to tank, San Antonio is the most clear answer. They have some guys that could surprise you. Keldon Johnson, we've talked about for most improved. If I have to bet it, I'm going under. I don't know what to do here. I don't know what to do here.
Yeah, I'm in a similar spot in that I am totally avoiding. I'm staying away. If I have to bet it, I'm going over if I had to bet it, because the only case for me why it should be under is that they actively try to lose games to get the number one pick, which is a very good case. That's why I'm not betting this one. But if you just said, hey, it's a young roster, Pop's going to coach the guys up, Keldon will get better, Josh Primo will get better, Devin Vassell will get better, Jakob Pertl and rookie Jeremy Sohan should help make the defense decent, right? Because Pop coaches up defense. Their expected win total last season was a 500 team. They had a positive net rating for the year. Their expected wins the last 3 seasons have basically been 34 to 38 win pace. So there's not talent on any of those teams, really. By every measure, the teams looking back the last 3 years should have been like 25 win teams, but it's the Spurs and it's Spurs culture and Pop. And so they get wins that they shouldn't. All of that, if I just knew that they would actually try ever to win games, I would love the over. I'd feel really good about it. But there's no team that has any bigger incentive to absolutely tank and purposely lose games than the Spurs. So
another case for the over might be that there's not. Here's one of the things that's weird. There's so many teams that are clearly positioning themselves for Wembanyama, but they're not that horrible. Like the Pacers are a team I think are going to be in that conversation, but they got Tyrese Halliburton and they got a bunch of really pretty good players. Like what's low for them? Like if they tank, but it's 26 and the Spurs only have to get to 24. Right.
So, but I thought you were going the other way on this, because you could look at what Houston is and all things we said about their very young team. The Spurs are young. Houston is a different version of young and inexperienced than the Spurs are. The Spurs have NBA players. Like they have competent guys who on a different roster could make an impact this season. And you combine that with quality coaching. And also, too, don't forget the flattened lottery odds. You only have to be one of the bottom 4 teams to get the same odds for number one pick. That also could, if you get to the end, they could win 24 games, 25 games, and still have that same odds for number one. It does matter because if you don't get the top pick, you still care about where you're at. But I don't know. It's the tanking thing just makes it. I was shocked when the number was the lowest on the board, because to me, that is the books clearly going all in saying, I know what the Spurs are. They are tanking. We're declaring it. And if the books know, they know.
I think that they're right. It's just, here's a good example of it. This is my understanding of what happened last year. The front office was ready to pivot. They had no interest in the play-in, and the players came to them and were like, we want to make the play-in. Like, we want to compete. We want to try and make the playoffs. And team's like, all right, let's go for it. That tells me that there's probably, and you said like there's NBA players. I'll be honest with you. I don't know realistically who has more NBA players on their roster between Houston and San Antonio. Like,
right. NBA players right now. Yeah. Or NBA players somewhere down the line.
Here's what I would say is like KPJ, Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, Alperen Şengün, Jayshawn Tate, Eric Gordon, KJ Martin.
Okay, but the guys you're naming, are they playing in a playoff rotation right now this
No,
year,
no,
or
no,
are
you
they
just
good
playoff. I said
eventually?
NBA guys, but like, here's my thing with the Spurs: Keldon Johnson, Josh Richardson, Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan.
Jakob Poeltl.
There's a lot of expectation he's going to get traded
Right, but he's there right
right
now.
now.
He's certainly on your list.
Five. Malachi Branham?
No, he's certainly not yet. But that's the thing, though. You're
Trey
naming
Jones?
KJ Martin off the Rockets. You're naming these like super young dudes. You're with the Rockets. You're confusing will be good NBA players probably eventually versus like the Spurs guys are actually like they can play some ball right now. But
No,
look, we're not betting this one either way. We're staying away on the Spurs because this is why it's too confusing.
Yeah, it's too confusing.